Kia ora e te whānau, ko bone tōku ingoa. Welcome to the Come Dine on Me podcast, the podcast where I yap while I breastfeed. It's been a while since I filmed an episode just because we've been having a few feeding issues lately. My daughter has been getting a bit fussy while she's been eating, and for a while she was only having 5 to 10 minute feeds a lot of the time, and then getting frustrated and not wanting to eat anymore, and then she'd play for a bit and then have some more. So it was just a little bit hard, and I was more just focused on her rather than worrying about this. So yeah, I mean, being a mum and having a baby, things are going to change over time, and I will have more time some weeks and less time other weeks, and things will change, and yeah, it'll just be what it is. Okay, so this week's episode will be my New Year's resolutions. It's not too late. I mean, it's still January, it still counts. This would have been the first episode of the new year, but like I said, we've had a few issues, so I'm just getting around to filming it now. It's like the 20th or the 21st or something of June, so okay, too quiet. New Year's resolutions are supposed to last the whole year anyway, so it's okay if they're a little bit late being posted on the internet. They're still happening, and I've already started. Yeah, I've been doing them in a few different ways. So I have a list of actual goals. I think there's 7 official goals that I'm working towards over the year, and they're kind of more broad goals. So they are not necessarily SMART goals with the specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time manageable, timely, or something. They're just kind of the umbrella concepts of what I want to achieve this year. And under those, I sort of have more specific steps of how I'm going to get there. And then I also have an overarching theme for the year. And I made a few bingo cards, and they're kind of more like bucket lists. So I've got a bingo card for me for 2026. I've got one for my daughter. So we've got ideas for things to do with her. And I have one for dates as well. I'm looking over there because I put them on the wall over there. So we're going to go through all my different methods of resolution setting this year, and I also have a habit tracker that I've started, so I'll show you guys that too. So let's just get right into it. Okay, I'll be referring to my little notebook here. So this year's theme is the year of making it happen. We've had lots of plans and things, that we've had in our minds, dreams, and things that we really want to get achieved. And this year is the year we're going to actually get the ball rolling and try and make some of those things happen. So we really want to build a house. It'll probably be a tiny home. We're thinking of maybe a container home, just because we can do a bit more customization with that. But we'll just see how we go. We're exploring other options too, whether it's actually building it from the ground up, or if we do a kit set house or a portacom sort of style one, like the one we're in now is more of a portacom style. But yeah, we would like it to be 2-story, so I don't know if we can do a 2-story portacom or not. I have to look into that. Obviously we could do a 2-story kit set or a from the ground up build. But a container home would be a very quick, and not necessarily quick, but just a straightforward way to get the structure we're after. And then, do all the customization more so on the inside and the structure and, all of that sort of stuff. So I'll probably do another episode talking about the design ideas that we have and what we kind of want to do with the house build. But yeah, I'll save that for another episode because that sounds fun. But yeah, we've been thinking about that for a while, and it hasn't obviously happened yet. We've been a bit busy. We've only started thinking about that probably last year, because there used to be a big walnut tree just out the back here, and my parents had that taken out because we live on my parents' property in our own house out the back. But yeah, they took out the walnut tree, and I was a bit sad about that because I wanted to be able to lie under the tree with the baby and look at the leaves and enjoy the shade and stuff. There's not really a whole lot of shade now because they cut down a lot of the trees that are on our property or around the edge. So yeah, was a bit annoyed because we then didn't have any shade anymore, and it kind of like took away some of the beauty of our yard. I understand why they did it. Like, they were messy. Firstly, all the trees that we had were ones that I think they're called deciduous trees, where they drop leaves in the autumn and stuff. So there was just leaves all over the place. My dad was having to leaf blow every day or two. So I understand it was a lot of maintenance. And they also did create a lot of shade, so there wasn't a whole lot of sun getting in. Especially in the winter, there was hardly any sun getting in. Like, in the summer there would be, but not as much in the winter. So, the leaves would be there, and then the ground would get all damp, and it would just stay damp and stay wet and end up being muddy and stuff. So then there were many other reasons. There's two big poplar trees at the back of our property, and they were huge, like absolutely massive. So they got those topped, so they're now like half the size. Which I think was probably a good call, because we've been having a lot of high winds the last couple of years, and we were all a bit worried that they were going to come down one day and break our houses. So, it was all for the best. But yeah, once that walnut tree went, I was a bit disillusioned and got a bit sad. So in order to make myself feel better about it, I started looking into using that space to build our house on. My parents said that we could build a house on this section of the land, and then just keep paying them what we pay now for rent, as like land cost. So we wouldn't have to buy our own land to build, or, because when you buy a house, you have to buy the whole property. So you get the house with the land package, and then you can do whatever you want with the house you've got, and like the whole land is yours as well. And if you want to build a house, you have to buy land. So yeah, they pretty much said, you're already on this part of the section, we're not going to use it. So if we want to, we could build a house here, and then we just pay them, continue paying them what we're already paying as land cost. And we'll have to work out a whole contract and everything as to whether, we're renting to own the land, or if we're just sort of like contributing towards the whole cost. At the end of the day, like, my parents will eventually probably not want to stay in their house anymore, because it's a really big house and there's only two of them. Eventually they'll get older, and it's 2-story, and they may not be able to make it up and down the stairs anymore and all that kind of stuff. It'll be a lot to maintain once they reach a certain age. So at that point they might want to swap houses and just have, because even if we do a 2-story house, it still won't be anywhere near as big as their houses, and it'll be more like modern and updated, so it might be easier to keep clean, and easier to maneuver around and whatnot. So they may just want to end up swapping houses, and then we take on their mortgage, and they hopefully by then we would have paid off ours, and then they don't have to worry about paying for a mortgage anymore. Because my dream would be that my parents wouldn't have to pay a mortgage anymore, and that I could help contribute to that in some way, because they worked hard for a really long time, and they've given me an awesome life, and even right now they're still letting me live on their property for a really good rate. So yeah, love my parents, and I want to help them out as much as I can. And if I can have anything to do with them having less money to pay for as long, then I would love to be able to do that. But that's one of the things we really want to make happen this year, and that is on our goals list. We're not going to build the house this year, but we want to get the ball rolling. So whether that's like get the plans and figure out who's going to build it for us, and sort out the design and stuff, so that, and start saving properly. Like, we've got our Kiwi Savers, we're going to be putting more money into our Kiwi Savers this year, and we'd have to look into the overall cost of everything, and whether we need to get a loan from the bank for a mortgage and all that kind of stuff. We're going to try and get all those things underway, so that next year hopefully we can start building the house. Because our sort of ideal timeline would be, like, we've just had our baby at the end of last year, so obviously 2025 was the year of me being pregnant and us having our baby, so that was the main priority, and it would not have been worth putting any more stress on our plates, or even just any more like grand events, because I wanted the year to be special because we had our first baby, not because we had our first baby and we built our first house and this and that and the other thing. We just one major life event at a time. So yeah, I think this year, the year of making it happen, will be the year that we get a few other things underway, including starting to build, or like planning our house build, and then next year hopefully we'll actually build the house. I don't know whether it will be done in the year or not. If not, then it'll be done by the year after. Fingers crossed. This is the ideal timeline. But one of the other things we wanted to get done this year is to get engaged. Me and Jake have been talking about this for years. Like, we're very much on board. Like, we're going to get engaged, we're going to get married. It's just a matter of when. And literally when I was in the hospital with, having just given birth, and I actually had a lot of complications in my birth. So once I was out of the woods with that, my partner asked me to marry him in the hospital. And, he's asked me to marry him before, very informally, and I've been like, yes, but, this is not the proposal. Of course I'm going to marry you, but you need to do it properly. But this time I actually just said yes, and was like, yeah, of course, because we had been through a lot, and it was a very special time for us anyway. So, he has technically asked me to marry him, but, he hasn't given me a ring, and I want that to actually be, a proper proposal and a proper thing with a ring. But, yeah, that's kind of like a pre-engagement, I guess. So this year I really want to get engaged, and I have told him that, and I've sent him the ring I want to get. I'm honestly not the kind of person who needs, $1,000 ring, or I don't really want to be wearing something on my finger that costs more than I pay in rent, or I pay in total bills in a week. I don't even really want to be wearing something that costs more than my paycheck. It's not for me. I tend to, I don't know, it's not that I tend to lose things. I am worried I might lose things. So yeah, no thank you. So I have been looking at created sapphires, which are just lab created jewels, and they are significantly cheaper than buying, mined jewels, and they are free of slave labor and stuff, so they're a lot more ethically sourced. So yeah, I am very keen on a lab created jewel ring, and I've even I've found the website I want to get them off. I've created the one that I want and sent him pictures and sent him the link and everything. So, and it's very cheap. It's under $200, which is so fine by me. But it's real, genuine jewels and real, I think it's gold plated sterling silver, which is fine with me. I don't need it to be real gold. That doesn't really bother me. As long as it's not going to tarnish, then I'm happy. Yeah, hopefully we will get engaged this year. That's one of the things on my list. And definitely, ideally our timeline would be 2025 we have our first baby, 2026 we get engaged, 2027 we either get married or build our first home. I'm kind of more leaning towards the home and then getting married, just because that is just higher on my list of priorities. I want to get married, but I want to be able to really put the time and the energy into wedding planning and making it, the event that I want it to be, and not have two major things on my plate at once. So if we're trying to, really think about building a house this year, then that will probably mean that we'll actually be building the house next year, and I don't really want to be worrying about building a house and planning a wedding in the same year. That'll just be too much. I'm a working mum already. I just don't need even more on my plate. And by that time, Carlos will be 2, or in her second year of life, so she'll be kind of a handful by then, I imagine. So yeah, I don't think that we have the capacity to be planning a wedding and trying to build a house at once. So yeah, it'll either be 2027 build our first house, or 2027 get married, and then 2028 will be the other one, hopefully. So yeah, big few years for us, big few years. But I love that. It's, we're really coming into our adulthood and building our life together. We've been together coming up 8 years. In May it'll be our 8th year anniversary. And that's really special for me because 8 is my lucky number, so I really want to get engaged in our 8th year. I just think that's really beautiful and special to me. But yeah, this is the year of making things happen, so hopefully we'll get a lot of these things underway. On my official goals list is to save 10k. So far we haven't saved any, so we're not on track for that yet, but I think that's more of like a lofty goal anyways. Like, if we don't save 10k but we save 5k, that'll still be great. That'll still be fantastic. I would like to save 10k, that'd be great, but if we don't get quite there but we save a lot, then that's good enough for me. We can always work on hitting the 10k next year. One of my other goals is to get fit and strong. That's what I mean by it's sort of more broad themes. The reason I want to get fit and strong is to keep up with this wee girl. So, right now she's just learned how to roll around properly, like from both sides, and she's working on crawling and she's working on sitting. So at the moment she can't move that far, and she moves reasonably slowly, so we're good for right now, but it won't be long until she's, up and moving, and I need to be able to keep up with her. And once she's, really on the move, when she's walking and running, then I really, really need to be able to keep up with her, because I am notoriously unfit and notoriously don't have great stamina, particularly. I do have asthma, so I've always not been great with the stamina and not been great with, like, running, for example. And I'd like to change that. Like, I'm not going to be able to not have asthma. That's just something I was born with and will probably be a lifelong chronic illness for me. I haven't grown out of it yet. Probably not going to. But it is something I can, like, my fitness and my stamina is something I can work on. I have noticed, especially since I've not been working anymore, I am really unfit now. Like, obviously, while pregnant, couldn't be that fit. Not as fit as I was before. I feel like my whole life I've always been in, like, this mindset that I'm unfit, and then something else will happen and I'll realise how much fitter I was before. And it's kind of sucks. It's like when you're young and you think you're, like, fat or ugly or something, and then you look back later and you're like, God, I wish I was fat like I used to be. And you're actually the skinniest you ever were, and, like, in the best shape of your life. All that kind of stuff. But it is what it is. I've realised now, after 4 months of pretty much sitting around like this all day and not being able to do a whole lot, because, for the first 6 weeks after birth I wasn't able to do any exercise at all. Like, I couldn't even really go on walks. Then, ever since then, being pretty much couch locked probably 4 to 6 hours a day, because I get nap trapped and she contact naps pretty much every nap. I've just accepted my fate on that. We spent a while trying to get her to go down and stay down, and she just wasn't having very long naps and wasn't sleeping very good, and it just wasn't worth it. So I've accepted my fate. For now, we contact nap. It will hopefully change at some point, but for now, this is my life. So yeah, I spend a lot of time sitting down, not getting a whole lot of movement in. So I've become a lot less fit than I was. Not to mention, I obviously grew and then birthed a baby. So that takes a toll on your body. And I did have complications in my birth, so, that also adds to the toll. And then my job is really active. Because I teach kapa haka, so I do the actions. So I'm literally on my feet pretty much all day, basically dancing all day, like moving my body constantly. It's not necessarily a really high energy lot of movement most of the time. Like, it can be, but it's not like all the time high energy, but it's very constant. Like, I'm literally moving for about 3 to 4 hours a day, non-stop, or very minimal stopping. So that's a lot of exercise in one day for anyone, really. Like, an adult is supposed to get 30 minutes of exercise a day. I would get 3 to 4 hours a day. So obviously that made me a lot more fit, and I had a lot more stamina, and my muscles were more conditioned and things. Like, I wasn't necessarily really strong or really fit, but I was a lot more fit than I am now. And then pre-pregnancy, I used to do aerial silks classes, and I'd go at least once a week. Sometimes I'd do twice a week. And yeah, I pretty much did that consistently for a year. So I was real strong. Like, I could literally pull my whole body weight up and then climb to the roof up a piece of fabric, basically. So yeah, I mean, like, obviously it took a while to get to that point, but I could do some great stuff. And those classes actually helped me when I was giving birth, because, like, I knew that I was really brave and really strong, and that I could do really hard things. And, you know, I was thinking, I think I've done scarier stuff than this. Like, I've literally flipped 3 times from the ceiling with only, like, like 30 centimeter thick crash mat underneath me. That's probably scarier than giving birth, purely because people give birth every day, and, like, there are medical professionals around you who know what to do if anything goes wrong. Whereas, like, when you're literally just, like, tied to the ceiling by your own, like, by your legs, basically, by your arms or your legs, and then you decide to flip down, there's nobody there who can help you immediately if anything goes wrong. Like, you're going to need an ambulance, and they're going to take some time to get there. So yeah, personally, I found thinking back to my aerial silks classes really helpful when I gave birth. And I thought they were really, really helpful for my personal growth and like my confidence, my self-worth, like my bravery as a person. Because, you know, I've done crazy stuff like that, so I can do anything else. Like, I've flipped from the ceiling. I can ask somebody for help. I've flipped from the ceiling. I can make that phone call. Like, you know, it really helped me in my day-to-day life. And then, yeah, when I was doing scary stuff like giving birth, it really helped as well. But yeah, in terms of the fitness and strength, that was incredibly helpful for all of the above. Like, strength mainly, but also flexibility, stamina, general fitness, and then, like, mental well-being as well. It was the only exercise I've ever stuck to in my whole life. Like, I've done lots of different sports in my life, and I liked a lot of them. I used to play cricket. I loved cricket. I played that for probably 3 or 4 years. I played league for a while. That was really fun. I only did 1 season of that because I started in year 8, and that was the last year that I could play it in a mixed team. After that, I went to high school and I would have had to do it in a girls' team, and I did not play against girls. Let me tell you, girls are a lot harder to verse than boys. I played netball for a while. I liked netball. It was fun, but it was more one of those ones that you have fun doing it while you're doing it, but you don't necessarily want to do it. That was what it was for me anyways. I did touch for a few years. Another sort of one where I was having fun while I did it, but I didn't necessarily want to go. I did hockey for a long time. I liked hockey. Hockey was fun. Like field hockey. What else did I play? I did dance for ages. I did hip hop for years. Like, probably 4 or 5 years. And I really loved hip hop, but then things just got real catty. Like, I don't think this is like this at every studio by any means, but yeah. Eventually, I just got in a crew with girls who were just not very nice, and they said mean things to me. And they talk about me behind my back. Like, I was only dating girls at the time, so yeah, they were, like, quite homophobic towards me as well, and just, yeah, it wasn't very nice. It's quite nasty. So I stopped for a while, and then I think I stopped for a couple of years, and then I wanted to go back, so I went back. And just the same sort of stuff happened again. Without the homophobia, but with the cattiness. And I was just like, oh, it's just not worth it. Like, not here anyways. And then I've been too scared to go back ever since, because I don't have it in me to deal with that kind of rubbish. Like, if that happened again, I'd be like, oh, for God's sakes. No, thank you. So yeah, I'd love Calissa to be able to do hip-hop or any other sort of dance at some point in her life, but I will not be sending her to that studio that I went to, because, yeah, I just did not gel with the people that I was having to be around all the time. And it wasn't all of them by any means. Literally, it would only be like 1 or 2 people, but, you know, it only takes one bad apple to ruin a barrel, you know? So yeah, and they really did ruin it for me, which sucked because I loved hip-hop. It was really fun. I would like to do dance again at some point, but I'd probably explore other studios, not go back to the same one. I'd love to be able to take on other classes as well. Like, I really want to do Modako, which is Māori martial arts using a big long stick. I think in other cultures it might be considered a staff. But yeah, that would be a really good form of exercise. I just don't know how much capacity I'm going to have to take extra things on now. Especially once I go back to work. Like, I'll be out of the house 5 days a week. And then I'm doing my aerial silks class. And that's an hour a week. And I was doing a te reo class last year. I got my level 4. And I wanted to do level 5 and 6 this year, or level 5 this year. But, it was just going to be too much commitment this year. I'd have to do 8 weekends away, and I think about 5 or 6 of them would be in Akaroa, which is quite a while away from Christchurch, and I just couldn't realistically swing that, because you're not meant to bring your babies. You can, but you have to get special permission, and realistically it would either be I have to bring the baby for the whole weekend, in which case, obviously, I still have to be parent before I can be student, so that, you know, I wouldn't be able to focus as well. You know, anytime she needed anything, if she needed a feed, if she needed a change, if she, like, because obviously she's going to grow over that time, there'll be, like, eventually she'd be able to crawl and potentially walk, and in that case, potentially run. You know, she's going to need a lot more attention. And entertainment and things, and be a bit more disruptive, so that would just not really have worked very well. Plus I would have had to do that all on my own. Like, I had plenty of classmates, and like even the tutors and stuff would have been like happy to take her for a while and like hang out with her and hold her and entertain her and all that kind of stuff, but you know, at the end of the day I can't expect anybody to do that. It's not their job, it's my job, and that would have been pretty difficult overnight. So, yeah, I couldn't commit to it. And the only other option would have been leaving her for those 8 weekends. And 8 weekends out of her first year of life, especially when I'm already out of the house 5 days a week, that's just too much time away from my baby. You know, I can't do that. So, yeah, as much as I really wanted to do the course this year, I just couldn't. So I've actually just found out about a weaving course, which is for free and very community based. It's not an assessment based one. I did do one that was assessment based a few years ago, and I really liked it, but I found it really confusing. So I spent a lot of the lessons just sitting there trying to wrap my head around things, which meant I got quite behind and would have to do a lot outside of class, and I'm not really great at being self-motivated to do things like that outside of class. So I just didn't end up doing a lot of the stuff, or I didn't end up finishing things, or, you know, I'd finish them quite late, so they'd be a bit dry by the time I was finishing them, so, yeah, I just didn't do so good at that one. And I don't think I even submitted my final assessment, so I definitely did not pass that course. I could go back and do it again, but I don't really want to at the moment. But this one that I've found now is weaving with the muka fibres, which is basically string or rope made out of the fibres of the flax plant. So you can make like cloaks, and you can make other things like bags and like woven mats and wall hangings and things like that, but I'm really interested in making cloaks, because like I said, I work as a kapahaka tutor, so it would be pretty cool to be able to make our own cloaks and pew-pews and things like that for our kids to wear. So yeah, I think I'm going to try that class and see how that goes. It's a bit more, work at your own pace, come and go when you need to sort of thing. So I feel like and I went in and met the kaikoa and some of the other students, and it seems like such a nice, fun vibe. So yeah, I'm really keen to do that. Since I'm not able to do my te reo course anymore, I really would like to be able to still do something, upskilling firstly, but secondly just being more actively involved in te ao Māori and in my Māoritanga in my personal time. Like, my job is to be immersed in te ao Māori, which is fantastic, and I love that, and wouldn't change it for the world. But it's good to have some other things going on as well, not just working with the kids. It's good to have something that's for me. So yeah, I think I'm going to do that this year. I'm going to try it and we'll see if I like it, if I stick around. I think I will like it because I did enjoy weaving with the flax. I just wasn't that good at it. It took me a while to figure things out, but you don't have to be good at something to enjoy it. And I did do a little bit of weaving with muka in a pregnancy course last year. We made muka ties to tie off the umbilical cord. I talked about that in one of my previous podcasts. I think it was my labour one, maybe? Not sure. Maybe it was the birth one. I don't know. Can't remember. But I did talk about it at some point. But yeah, I've done a little bit of working with muka with that, and I really enjoyed that. It was really fun. It was really relaxing as well. It was quite peaceful. So yeah, I think it'll be really nice. But yeah, basically that does take up a bit more of my time. So then I'll be working 5 days a week. I only work about 4 hours a day, but I'm out of the house for nearly 6 hours just because we have to travel between schools and stuff. Then I'll be doing my silks for an hour, and then, the weaving class. I think at the moment they're just doing introductory stuff, so it'll be only a couple of hours for the first few weeks, and then I think they have once a week they do pretty much they're open all day and you can come and go as you please basically. But that could see me out of the house for another few hours a week. So yeah, I just don't know if I realistically have the time to commit to doing any other classes like mōrākau or dance. Not at the moment anyways, just because I don't want to be taking more time away from my baby. But maybe I could do something that is with baby. Like they have mums and bubs groups. They have mums and bubs exercise classes. I think they do mum and baby yoga. They have mum and baby workouts classes, like body weight workouts. They have mum and baby swimming or aqua jogging. They have mum and baby music classes. She's gotten into the grabby phase, so she keeps trying to grab my boob or put her hand in her mouth while she's trying to eat, and I'm like, this is very counterproductive to what you're trying to achieve. There's a lot on my plate already. If I'm going to be planning a house build, I think we've got a lot going on right now. Probably don't need to add anything else. We might just stick with that for now. I feel like I have the capacity for so much right now because I'm not working yet. School hasn't started back yet, so I haven't been working since a month or so, or a few weeks before I gave birth. So I'm like, yeah, I've got all the time in the world. I can do stuff like that. And then I remember, oh wait, you're about to leave the house every day for 6 hours a day. So you probably won't have the time and capacity to do all that stuff. Which kind of sucks, but it's okay. I love my baby and I want to spend time with her. I want to spend time with her. It's my special girl. I love you. I love you. It's my special girl. I love you so much. Such a cutie. Okay, she's been asleep for 25 minutes, maybe even 30. Okay, anyways. Next goal is to write 3 original waiata. I really want to be able to write my own songs for our kapa haka groups. That was why I did my te reo class. One of the 2 main reasons. To write our own waiata and to be able to raise Kawasa with some te reo Māori as well. I wanted to go bilingual, but I don't think I quite know enough to fully be able to be bilingual with her, but I try and say as much as I can to her in te reo, and she'll hopefully pick it up too. She'll get more than I got, so that's what really matters. Okay, my daughter woke up, so she's playing with a chew toy right now. She's learning to sit up, so there may be a lot of interruptions while I readjust her. Where were we? Right. So one of my main goals this year, my main work-related goals, is to win tūhono. So we won tūhono this year with Kaipoi North School, well last year now I suppose, which was incredible. Really, really stoked for the kids. They did really awesome work this past year. They worked really, really hard. We had some fantastic leaders who made a huge difference. But they have a really strong group anyway. So I really think that even though we are losing a lot of those strong leaders, I think they're still going to be awesome. And we've already had a whole bunch of kids, even like some really young kids, come up and ask if they can lead this year coming. And we were like, of course, please. That would be great. So fingers crossed. They'll do really well again this year, but also we have other schools who are in the competition too, in various competitions. Last year we had 4 schools in that same competition, so our schools did really well. We're really proud of them, all of them. So it would be awesome to see some of them do really well too, but we have other schools in different competitions as well. So yeah, really hoping that we can at least place top 3 in at least one of the competitions, but obviously we're shooting for the moon so we can still land amongst the stars, so the goal is to win. We really worked on our non-aggregate items last year, so we brought in new traditional instruments. We made sure all of our groups had a pau, which is like a little sing-song thing that the girls do at the start. We had a whakamihi for all of our male leaders to do as well. We always have some soloists or small group singers. The uniforms is not really within our control. None of our groups had a novelty item in 2025, so maybe we might do some of that this year. We'll see. We want to really like focus on our main 3 ingredients, like our main 3 items, because that's how you like win the competition. But there's nothing to say we can't throw in a little something here or there. We didn't have any youth guitarists last year, but it would be cool if there's any kids who play guitar that want to join us on stage to be guitarists this year. That'd be pretty cool. We'll put the call out, see if anyone wants to do it. If they don't, no worries. We can't like control that either. All we can do is ask, and if anyone wants to, then hopefully they will. But we think we're going to switch up some of our schools who are going this year. We've got like the 4 schools who went to the big competition that we won last year will definitely be going again this year, and same with our intermediate. We've got some who did ngaho this year who might go into competition this year. We just have to see, because we don't know what kind of kids we're going to have this year, or like how things are going to be now that the leaders from last year have moved on, so we just have to wait and see. But yeah, there's a couple, at least one school who was in Nahu who I'd like to be in competition this year, but we'll just have to see how they go. And there's a couple who were in competition last year who have maybe not performed as well over the last couple of years in competition, who we might look at putting back in the ngaho. Again, it depends what kind of outcomes we see this year. But also, like, one of our schools, they are a great school and they perform really well, but they just didn't have the commitment this past year from in terms of actually being able to make the event. Last year we had the same issue, but it was because there was another event on the same day, which was like also school related, that couldn't be changed, so they were both equally as important, so they kind of just had to make the choice. But for some reason in 2025 there was not even like a third of the group who ended up coming, and I don't even really know why, so hopefully we can get a bit more commitment this year. I don't really think it's the kids' fault. At the end of the day, they're not the ones who can drive themselves there, so if their families say they can't come, then they can't come. I try not to make any judgments. I don't know what's going on in their lives. They might have things to do. They might, I don't know, they may have their reasons. So yeah, it is what it is. But hopefully this year we'll get more commitment from everyone, from all the schools, from all their parents and families and things. So yeah, we'll see. And there's one school who I would really like to bring to Tūhono this year who have not been before. I think they're pretty talented. They've got a really, really, really talented leader. And she's still quite young, and she could be, getting to be on stage at Tūhono for the next few years. And there's a lot of younger, there's a couple of other leaders in her year and a couple who are younger, all of who are really talented as well and work really hard. And they're a good singing school. They do a great haka. So yeah, I think they could, I'd just put them in the ngaha. I probably wouldn't put them in the competition anytime soon. Maybe one day, but at this stage we'll just go for the ngaho. But I just think they deserve to be on a bigger stage, and particularly the main leader. I think it would be a waste of her talent to just keep her in the local performances when she could be on the big stage, because she's really talented, and there are other kids in that group who are as well. So I think they deserve to have a chance on the big stage, so hopefully we can put them in this year. There was one group who were supposed to be in last year, but they didn't end up coming because they just didn't end up having the amount of kids that they had hoped they would at the start. So that was a shame, because they're a good group, but it is what it is. Again, we can't control these things. They just happen. We just have to roll with the punches. But yeah, Tūhono's a big goal this year. We really want to do well this year. We've got the school who won the competition last year is in the finals this year, and potentially one of our other schools might be as well, because they came third in one of the items, and otherwise the first, second and third were the same three schools who came first, second and third in the overall. So they're obviously all going to be in the finals, but it's the top four from that performance and from the finals from this year, from last year. They will all go into the finals for this year. But we haven't heard the list yet, so fingers crossed it might be two of our schools in the finals. That would be really cool. Even better if one of them gets to be on stage doing one of my original waiata. I've already written one. I wrote it for my daughter, and we're just figuring it all out at the moment, but yeah, I'm really excited about it. Another one of my goals is to get 150 subscribers on YouTube. So I've got two goals around subscribers. I want to get 100, because I'm at 81 I think at the moment, and then by the end of the year I want to have 150. So yeah, I can't control people subscribing, but I can just keep posting and hope that people like the content and that they subscribe. So if you're watching this and you're not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. Help me achieve that goal. That'd be amazing. According to my analytics, I've got about 83% of the people watching my videos are not subscribed. So don't be one of those 83. Come and join, the 17% and bump that up so that we've got more subscribers and I can hit my goal. That'd be amazing. You never know, I might even surpass it. I'm going to keep trying. But yeah, I wanted to set realistic goals that I could actually achieve. The last goal on this list is to finish my bingo card. So I think this is getting long enough, so I probably will actually just make a video specifically about my bingo card, and that'll just be a separate video rather than a podcast. But yeah, I've got my own bingo card, one for my daughter and one for dates this year. We've already started ticking some things off. We've already ticked off 2 of the dates, and I think I've got 2 on the board for my bingo. I don't think we've done any for hers yet. That's okay. So yeah, my goal is to finish my bingo card, because that's my bucket list for the year, and I really want to do all those things. So we'll see how we go. Hopefully we can get it all done. Okay, just the last few things, in my goals under my set goals. I really want to read, spend time outside, and sing or dance or both with my baby. At least one of those few things every day. Ideally all of them, but I think there's only so many hours in a day, and there's only so many hours she's awake, so I don't have to do all of them every day, but I want to try and do some of those things every day, because I want reading and outside time and music to be a big part of her life. I want to do more art together between me and baby. We've done a little bit of painting so far. I just put paint in a plastic bag with a piece of paper in there and let her kick around on it, or roll around on it. And I actually used those to make Christmas cards for our family, which was pretty cool. So I'd like to do more stuff like that, or when she's allowed to eat solids, like I'll try and make some like taste safe art materials that we can do some fun things with. I want to continue breastfeeding as much as possible. Obviously, I can't breastfeed her while I'm working. I'm going to try and get this finished without revealing her face. We want to start the solids journey. It's going to be hard work. It's going to be scary. I'm not really looking forward to it, but we have to do it. So let's start that. And I want to keep working on Carlos's baby book because I have to finish my birth story. I haven't finished writing it in there yet. And like I've been putting her wrapping paper from her baby shower and first Christmas in there, and I want to like put some more photos in there, and like probably write her a couple of letters and things. Like I wrote one for her first month. I'd like to write one for her 6 months, and then like her first year. Hopefully this book will last her through to her first year. I tend to be a bit of an oversharer, so I write a lot, I talk a lot, put a lot of stuff in places. Oh, crikey. So, yeah, we'll see how we go. But what are you doing, Looney Tune? In terms of mahi, I want to do some more poi this year, so I've already planned out a lot of poi routines to include in our performance brackets this year for at least... I don't think we can keep doing this. You're going to need to go on the floor again. You go lay on the floor and play. You go play down on the floor. Okay, she's rolling around on the floor now. Yeah, I've already planned out a lot of poi routines to do for our performances. Like specifically for our non-competition performances. We might be able to add in poi in our competition stuff if we have the time, but it's not going to be a high priority for that. We'll just try and do it for all our other performances, so they still are able to do some throughout the year. And I would really like to, I'm with the other tutors that we know about learning how to write haka as well. It'd be cool to be able to write our own haka. I'm focusing more on waita this year, but I'd like to be able to write us hakas as well, especially for our schools that don't have their own school haka, but also because there are schools who want their own school haka, and it'd be cool for me to be able to write them myself, and I'd be able to like commission them to do it as well, so you know, make a bit more money. And probably if I'm doing all the work of writing it and I'd be doing the actions as well, then that money would be for me, which would be nice, rather than like directly, like all of our business money goes to me and my dad, and it like gets split up based on our like needs. Like he gets paid more because he has more expenses, which that is what we agreed on when we started the business, so it's not like a problem. But yeah, if I'm doing all of the mahi on writing the haka and doing the actions for it, then you know I could be getting, you know, just a bit of extra money for me, which would be nice to add to my savings so I can get to that 10k goal. You know, put it in my Kiwi Saver to get a little bit of extra money on top from the government. That'd be nice. Speaking of finances, controversial, but I'm probably going to get on the benefit this year because I only work 20 hours a week, which is a few hours under the amount that you can get a benefit to like top up. Again, controversial. I'm quite willing to take the government for all it's got, so if they're handing out money, I'm going to take it. I'm not going to not have it just because I have a job. Like, if I can get money, then I will take it, especially now that I've got a baby. Like, we have a lot more expenses, and we will continue to gain more and more expenses as she gets older and she like needs to eat food and needs more clothes more regularly, and you know, we want to actually take her out to do stuff, and like we have to pay for her to do things, and you know, there's lots of things that will cost more money when she gets older. And even just like making sure we have a full tank of gas every week so that if we have to go anywhere we can, if we want to go anywhere we can, having our own savings, emergency savings and personal savings, so that if there's an emergency, like, you know, like our cat had to go to the vet the other week, you know, things like that. If the car needs something done to it, then we have money there right away ready to go. We don't have to even really wait for it to be transferred to us, because we have savings at the moment, but it's like we've only got the one savings account, And we want to make sure that we've got emergency and personal savings so that we're not dipping into emergency savings for personal reasons. And obviously we're saving for a home. I wouldn't be like I'm not going on like the job seekers or anything. It'll be, there's like one for parents, so that I'm just getting money for her basically. So yeah, I'm not going to be like ripping the system or lying to them or anything, but if I'm entitled to money, I'm going to take it. Sorry, not sorry. I think we all should be doing that. It's there. At the moment, I'm getting maternity leave from the government, so like, what's the difference? I want to pay off all of our bills and our debt this year. We don't have a whole lot, just like a bit of afterpay, and there's like one bill I have outstanding from a while ago, and then just like making sure we're on top of our payments, so we're getting our Wi-Fi bill and our insurance and all that stuff paid every single time it comes up on time, and that, you know, any other things that come up like our I pay for a Google bill because I've got a lot of storage of photos, and you know, like our Xbox and things like that. So yeah, I just want to pay off all our debts, especially if we're going to be getting a mortgage. We don't want to have any other debts. We actually paid off my car last year, which was awesome, because I got a tax refund, so we don't have to pay for that anymore, at least. Just insurance. What the heck? Want to make sure that we're debt free, especially going into potentially getting a large amount of debt from a mortgage. Oh, Bubba. Okay, I think we're hungry again. All good. What other goals do we have? I want to have a better diet because, yeah, we got into a bit of a takeaway hole for a while, and then Jake does most of the cooking, and just for a while he was getting a little slack, so his words, not mine. So yeah, I'm trying to aim for 5+ a day and 1 to 2 takeaways a week max. The 5+ a day has been going alright. The 1 to 2 takeaways a week is not going the best. So, but it's only been like 2 weeks, so we're doing much better than we were. I'm actually getting 5+ a day, like at least a few days a week, so that's great. And we're not getting takeaways every day or anything, so, you know, it could be worse. It has been worse, so we're getting there. It's a goal that's going to last me, hopefully, forever. Hopefully it's something that I keep continuing to maintain. That one's more of a habit than a goal, because it's something that I have to keep doing. But yeah, it's a habit I want to get into, and to be more effortless. I want to continue posting weekly YouTube videos, and I'm wanting to start posting shorts as well, which I've already started. I don't necessarily have like a schedule that I want to keep to for that, but ideally I'd like to post at least once a week, if not more. I have found that shorts seem to gain more traction more quickly, which makes sense. Shorter attention spans, further reach. But I like posting longer videos as well, and that's like what I would prefer to be doing, so I'll just keep doing that. I want to have regular outside time, whether it's going for walks, which is how I've also been trying to keep up my fitness, and do like spend some more time outside with Carlissa as well, or just like sitting outside or going swimming. Like, there are lots of things I can do outside. And I want to do lots of hobby time. So I've been doing a lot of hobbies while feeding, or while she's sleeping on me, because she does contact nap pretty much every nap. So like at the moment I've got my computer turned towards me with the mouse and the keyboard right there, so that I can play like point and click games while she sleeps on me. At the moment, like, she's on the right side, I have my left hand free. I could play a point and click game now, but I'm not going to because I'm busy, but I can do that. I've been using my Xbox as well, whether I'm like watching a show, watching YouTube, listening to a podcast, or playing like Fortnite is what I've been playing at the moment. And then I also have my hobby basket, which I set up in my New Year's vlog, which is right next to me. So I've got plenty of analog hobbies I can do as well. And then I try to do something hands-on when she goes to bed. Lately she's been going to bed quite late. She hasn't been going down until later. So I haven't had as much time, and I've been tired, so I've just been going to sleep. But that's okay, that's not going to be like that all the time. And I've still been getting my hobby time in throughout the day, so that's okay. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all my goals for this year. Like, all those smaller ones pretty much come under one of the bigger ones, and then like, you know, like hobby time and stuff like that. That's more, again, more habits I want to build and maintain rather than like big goals. So yeah, that's all of my goals for this year. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what your New Year's resolutions are in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like it, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications, leave a comment and share the video. And I will see you guys in the next one. Ka kite te whānau.